Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today I'm building a French battleship in order of JT Hancock, one of my naval architects. It's a Patreon tier that allows you to send in a scenario and I'll turn it into a video, provided that your scenario gets enough votes from the other patrons. So if you want to vote on scenarios and have an impact on what scenario gets picked for the next video, a link down below in the description so you can become a patron supporter and directly help me build the channel even more. Today, the scenario by JT Hancock says it has been a few years since Britain and France persuaded the other members of the Washington Naval Treaty to have their own 16-inch armed battleship. And they have finally found the perfect naval designer for the job. You were contracted to build the Mighty French Vessal. But be warned, the political state of Spain is becoming weak. It plays out in the 1930s. I have to build a battleship with 16-inch guns. There are no other design requirements, and it just says destroy the entirety of the enemy fleet. So let's get to building a minimum 16-inch, or actually a 16-inch gun battleship. Now, it was not a minimum 16-inch gun battleship like the video that I did yesterday, the Super Bismarck. So this one's going to be a bit different. Let's not pick a super hull. Let's go with a Super Battleship 1, because I'm thinking of a forward-oriented 16-inch gun build. Let's go with 16-inch quads. So like a French Nelson design at this point. Hold on. Would this work? I might have already tried this at some point, but we're just going to ignore the fact that these turrets are sticking out of the deck. Mostly. Here we go. Alright, you. Turn. So, how would you like a forward-firing battleship which carries 12 16-inch forward-firing guns? I think that could make for a nice ship, right? Range, not important. Bulkheads, yes. Gear turbines, oil. Let's go for forced boilers. Shaft, crypt 4, barbettes. I might be testing my barbettes a bit out today, so let's go for quite a bit. Triple. I'm not going to go for a ton of anti-torpedo protection because I'm going to go bow in, which means less chance of getting killed off through torpedoes because I'll present a relatively small profile. At least, that's the plan. I do want to get a warning about incoming torpedoes, though. Oops. Shit. Would be lovely if they could introduce a Control-Z feature here, but as currently, that's not in there. Now, we have a bit of a 4-weight offset, and on top of that, we don't have a secondary tower yet, so let's put that in place first. Secondary tower comes here. 2.9. Throw in a complex angled funnel. We are not only dealing with enemy battleships. There are only 2 of those. There are 4 heavy cruisers, 2 lights, and 3 destroyers. I am really not interested in fighting anything small up short, up close range. I think that is a recipe for disaster. What? Sorry, I got a bit distracted there. I never seen the ability to put these things on angled. That looks really neat, actually. It kind of makes sense as well. Could I put an 8-inch gun on that? Why, yes, of course. Yes, of course. I love it. That looks really good. I'm not even sure if these things are supposed to be able to be put down here, but I'll take it. If the game's going to allow it, I'm going to use it. Right, secondary guns. Can we put... No, you cannot put 5s up there. 4s? Nope. 3s? 3s. 3 triple... I'll take a 333 over there. Although, if the 8-inch guns do their job, then we won't have to fire at all using those 3s. I want those 8s over here, facing forward, because they can also be used to engage the enemy in a frontal manner. Especially useful against smaller targets, read destroyers and the such. I know, by the way, that I can still add 8,000 tons of displacement to this ship, if I so desire. Or is it even more? Yeah, 8,000 tons, or 7.5 if you want to be exact. But I don't really think that I'm going to need that much. What? What? You're going to have to explain this to me. I think I kind of broke the game when I was capable of putting those standard barbettes for secondaries at an angle. So what you're seeing right now is probably the result of that. I mean, it's amusing, but I'm going to send this in as a bug report because this is probably not how the French hull is supposed to work. Anyway, let's go with a couple of 4-inch quads, or 4-inch triples. There will be French quad turrets, secondary turrets, by the way. There, that should keep any destroyer away. Oh, firing arc is so bad. I'm gonna have to space them out a bit more. That's a little better. Although, if I have a destroyer that close to the ship, something has gone horribly and entirely wrong. Now, on the stern, you can still put a couple of 8-inch guns, but are they really required? I don't think so. What I'm going to put on the stern is just another couple of secondaries. Unfortunately, you probably cannot put a tall, medium, whatever kind of barbette there. No, nothing. 5-inch triples. Oh, they have to be on that mounting point. Really. Right, well that's our defense for the stern. Let's hope that nothing ever sneaks up on the stern, because if it does, we're going to be in trouble. Weight offset is a little too high towards the stern. So let's see if we can balance that out by moving the front turrets farther forward. .8, but I have a bit of a starboard weight offset. 0.7, 0.4, 0.1, 0.4. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, 5,000 tons left. I don't want to make it very quick, because I don't need that. I would rather have a slower battleship with a very good turning angle. And that means it's going to go into armor. Most likely, they're going to be hitting me right on the nose, as I'm going to go bow in. So belt extended, in this case, will up-armor the bow and stern of the ship. It does not have to be as thick as the belt, because projectiles that strike from the front are more easily deflected due to the angle of impact. Yes, agreed. But nevertheless, I'm putting a lot of pressure on that bow. So the more of an armor layer I have there, the more likely I am to bounce anything that comes in. Let's go for 18-inch turrets. Turrets armor, that is. 10-inch secondary armor. Conning tower needs to be armored a bit more. And what else can I do with the rest? Deck. I don't expect... Oh, shit. Whoops. Haha. I didn't quite take that into account. It's going to make the ship bigger. I don't want the ship to be bigger. Come on. There. Okay, maybe that armor is a bit too much. Kick off the radio. Reduce armor on the turrets. 17 inch. Reduce armor on the secondaries a bit. To 9.5 inch. Okay. I think I can live with this. I just hope that the enemy can't. Conning tower can get our armor back. How much can you put on the conning tower if you really wanted to? Jesus. 100 inches of armor plus 110%? That's effectively 200 plus inches of armor? Hold on. What does that look like? 200 inch? An inch is what? 2.5 centimeters? So 2.5 is 500 millimeters of armor. That's 5 meters of armor. It's a bit much. Maybe. Maybe a bit on the high end. I mean, I like crazy designs, but that, even for me, is quite a lot. Alright. The Terrible. Let's put her out to the fight, go bow in, and start blapping Spanish warships. Let's see what the enemy has cooked up. And what my own AI has cooked up for me. Because I have assistance from heavy cruisers Tigre, Refuge, and that is it. No, here, Chanzy. 7-inch guns. Now I'm the one who's going to be playing around with the minimum bulkheads. They are really quick at 41 knots. But I think best left to later in the game when they can intercept enemy fast ships. Which are probably destroyers and light cruisers. So that means that I want the entirety of Div 3 to not screen. But potentially just stay at a distance. Light cruisers, 3 of them. Dubourdieu, Duplier, what? Duplex, I think. And Villars. Standard bulkheads, 6-inch guns. AB XYZ formation. 3 2s and torps. 15-kilometer range. But they're single torps. Basically useless. Destroyers, Brestois and Hussard. Torpedo launchers. 20-inch, 12.6. Very hard to spot. And ammo for that is standard. So that's 12 per launcher and 9 per launcher. So basically 3 salvos. Okay, enemy battleships. What do you have for me today? Holy crap. That's 12 18-inch guns. They do look a little out of place, those big quadruples on that hull. But they might look out of place. Nevertheless, they will inflict a serious amount of damage. We've got 12 9-inch guns on these heavy cruisers. And over here there's another heavy cruiser. And then the light cruisers. 7 times 2 5-inch guns. No visible torpedo launchers. That's good. Alright. As opposed to my normal formation, I'm going to go line abreast. We're going to turn in. And we're going to go to 15 knots. The target that I have in mind is one of their battleships. That one. Heavy cruisers are just going to continue on their course. I'm going to keep them in a sort of holding pattern here. The DDs, I want you guys to go in on the side for a torpedo attack. And the light cruisers, I'm also going to put you guys in a holding pattern because I don't think that I have a job for you right now. Enemy range started out, was it 25? 20. .4% chance to hit. Yeah, we're going to have to get quite a bit closer to make that accurate. Incoming fire on the heavy cruisers. Ooh, that's a lot of fire. Get out of there, Tigre. You have no business being here. If I can just put these guys on a circle pattern, they're going to continue to circle until otherwise directed. Just do that at a mere 24 knots, which for them is quite slow indeed. Let the battleships work. Let them inflict their damage. And let them take care of some of the bigger ships, so then you can have your moment of glory. Because if I push you in too early, I'm just going to lose ships pretty quickly. There is one problem with going bow in. I have the risk of getting too close to the enemy. When I do that, I risk being torpedoed, even though I'm presenting a small profile. And on top of that, I am going really slow. Which means I'm easier to hit. Nothing. If I'm easier to hit, I might take more damage. I have to speed up a bit more. I'm hoping that those secondaries can keep the light cruisers and the destroyers away. Come on. We're throwing out salvos of 24 16-inch shells every 53 seconds. But it seems like we're not really having any luck hitting or penning. Nope. Where are my DDs at? Because I don't want to have those guys disengage too far. Don't torp unless told. Turn this way. Alternative plan. I could engage one of the heavy cruisers. By engaging one of the heavy cruisers, I might be able to shore up the defenses a bit, making sure that the destroyers can come in and torpedo the battleships. At least that's my working theory. One of their 18-inch shells just hit my battleship's secondary gun, inflicting substantial damage on Terrible. This guy's hard to hit. Yeah, we're down to 92. Santa Barbara. Torpedoes, torpedoes, more torpedoes. Minimum bulkheads. You're going to have a really bad time then. Because you're soon to have an indoor pool below decks. In fact, I think engineering has been redesigned, repurposed into a new indoor pool. But they managed to control the flooding, and the pool has gotten no larger than the entire engineering section all the way to the stern. But nevertheless, pool expansion is rigged, or is scheduled to continue. I just need to open up one more hole, and we might be able to... Oh, actually, there's a third section of engineering that I skipped over. We might be able to inflict more damage and open up the pool a bit more. Santa Barbara, struggling to stay alive. But credit where credit is due. Despite having minimum bulkheads, they are holding their own. I just need to hit him one more time. Nope. Nothing. And there come the auxiliary engines again. Auxiliary engine 4 getting rid of a lot of water. It's almost like they don't appreciate having an indoor pool. They managed to drain the stern almost entirely. Guys, are you not appreciative? I mean, your ship wasn't designed with an indoor pool, but I can still give you one. Crap, Berenguela could be a problem here. Look at that, 58% buoyancy. The only sections which have been flooded is engineering. They've lost 2 engines. Switch fire to the Brendryen. I think she might be somewhat suffering from that mobility bug. And that makes her relatively easy to hit. Yeah, there she goes. Because I need these things away so my destroyers can push in. Heavy cruisers. Still circling here. We can turn that way. Light cruisers. Oh. Oops. It's a bit too far. Then again, I don't need my light cruisers yet. For now, they're all right. Are you still targeting the battle? No, you're still targeting the heavy cruiser. The Terrible is targeting the light cruiser. The Brendryen. Come on. There we go. Indoor pool's getting re-established. Bit more. 20%. Brendryen has a bit of a heavy stern, but is working very hard on draining it. Hussar, if you don't mind, speed your ass up. Torpedo range was what? 12. Means we're gonna have to get quite a bit closer. Down to 15% buoyancy, but still alive. Alright. I'll be patient. Look at the amount of guns on these heavy cruisers. They carry so much that the game is squishing all the information together. Just fire high explosive, Terrible. That should be more than enough to suffice for a light cruiser. Almost no armor to speak of. 152 hits. Richelieu hasn't really been attacked that much. Whoa, your buoyancy is back up to 75? That's actually quite impressive. How many bulkheads do you have? Minimum! Ooh, you're a torpedo disaster waiting to happen, buddy. You're a torpedo disaster waiting to happen. Turning circle 470, sonar 3. Nevertheless, these torpedoes are really hard to spot. So maybe the AI does not get enough warning this time. Heavies? Yeah, they're coming in. The amount of damage that this heavy cruiser is taking is getting quite ridiculous. 1.4k damage taken. Ship doesn't seem terribly impressed. Please torp the battleship now. Ooh, dear. 2 flash fires. Sunk. Well, those were 20-inch torpedoes away. Maybe it's enough. We'll just have to hope that it is. But first blood to the Spanish. First to sink one of my ships. Alright. Attack the Golga together. Chance to pen, 99%. Chance to hit? 10%. I'll take it. I want my heavy cruisers to increase the flank speed and intercept that lonely heavy cruiser over there, Santiago. Okay, we hit him. Bow belt. Very good. You're in torpedo range now. Fire aboard Golga. With the amount of damage that she's taken, it's only a matter of time until she starts taking engine damage. It might not be an opportune moment to torpedo the Golga. Because by the time that the torpedoes get halfway, the ship might have slowed down substantially, leading to a massive miss. So let's have the Hussar just do a couple of loops here. Yeah, see, there she goes. She's flooding. Flooding is not necessarily going to throw your torpedoes off, but it has a fair chance of slowing the ship down by a few knots. And at the range that we're firing these torpedoes, it might be enough to completely negate any chance that the torpedoes have to attack. There goes another flooding hit. These torps look good against the Salvador del Mundo. Damage taken. 3.7k. Huh. Oh, come on. One on the nose. Go. Oh! Hoo-hoo! Flash fire. I'll take it. I'll take it. Why, though? Cordite 1? Krupp 1 armor? How did you pull that off? Heavy shells, Citadel 5. Right. Yeah, well, okay. Not what I was expecting, but I'll welcome it. Light cruisers. Still fairly far away. Salvador del Mundo flooding still from that hit on the bow. And it's not helping that it's coming under heavy attack from the 16-inch guns. I'm going to detach the Richelieu to have her push in faster. And slow down on the Terrible. Oh shit, torpedo hit. Origin. Destroyer on my starboard side. There's probably more incoming. Looks like the battleship's out of the fight. Which means that we can start to take down light cruisers next. I mean, oh shit. Uh-oh. I'm gonna get hit here. But just once, I think. Still, that's a fairly chunky hit. Target all the guns at the Berenguela. Because I think that the battleship there is pretty much done for. 1% buoyancy and still flooding. Yeah, she's done for. DD. Engage the Valiente. Valiente, turning circle 380 to sonar 3. Time to get out. The heavy cruisers have reached the Santiago. Santiago launched torpedoes against the DD of all things. Alright. If you so desire. My 7-inch guns are going to need to get really close in order to deal damage against Santiago. But we do have a decent rate of fire. 17.6 reload. Yeah, we can make it work. You got flooded. You also got torped. Now their battleships are no longer an issue. So we're going to switch to high explosive. Just blap a few of these guys out of the water. I'd say that comparatively the French had fewer numbers, my fleet. But once again, I think it's tactics that make me come out on top. Because the AI should have rushed me with the DDs. And with the heavy cruisers. Because with their heavy cruisers, they had a really decent chance to do a lot of damage. All those torpedo launchers, especially when tandemed with the destroyers, it could have caused all sorts of harm to my battleships. Then, when my battleships would have been dead, they could have pushed in with their battleships, killing off my cruisers, and thus I get a death spiral. Because now they effectively don't have a really decent way of getting rid of my battleships. Sure, torpedoes are annoying, but so far I'm keeping my battleships alive. So they don't really have a good way of dealing with the battleships, and I just keep butchering one ship after another. There goes Valiente. Next target, the already damaged Santa Barbara. Let me guess. Torped? Not even. Hold on a moment. You got damaged for 1,098 by 2-inch guns? What? Range. Let's say 1.5 kilometers. Those things have 7 inches of pen? And I have almost no belt armor. Yeah, you could have penned me anywhere except on the belt. Jesus. That thing is not interested in talking or taking prisoner. It just completely blew away one of my heavy cruisers, and it's probably going to do it again. Light cruisers are pushing in. We still got the Hussar. Let's turn away before that torpedo gets too close. Again, quite like yesterday, and I don't like it. It's just wrapping up. My ships were undergunned, considering the enemy's 18-inch 12 barrels. I had 12 16s. But I think it's the survivability on the enemy battleships that did them in, or the lack of survivability. Because they simply weren't capable of sustaining too much... sustaining too much damage, and thereby getting sunk. Oh! Yeah, one hit. Severe flooding on Santa Barbara. Your indoor pool is now complete. Congratulations. Next, Roger de Lauria. Uh-oh. No, we're fine. Holy crap. What sunk you then? Oh, a torpedo. Yeah, they have that too. Have my heavy cruisers done anything? Pretty much no. They are not a good heavy cruiser. Anyway, with this scenario being the last day of the month, last day of February, there is a new month coming up. Which means that if you become a Patreon supporter, you can vote on whatever scenario is going to be happening next for the Naval Architects, which is always on the weekends. So if you want to support the channel and at the same time get to vote on what becomes a video next, please become a Patreon supporter and help me out through there. And if not, then at least subscribe to the channel, because that too really helps. Now, Hussar is doing her level best to try and torpedo the heavy cruiser Santiago. She cannot quite gun it down, but she might be able to torp it. Turning circle 308. Sonar 3. They're likely to see those torpedoes pretty soon. What did you just torp? You torped my destroyer. Okay, Santiago, you're pretty much done. Go home. No, now we start damaging their torpedo launchers. Yeah, right. Those torpedoes are inflicting a serious amount of damage against my cruisers. But it might work both ways. No! Oh, that was a good dodge. Let me guess. I'm going to turn just enough to eat one right on the nose. Beautiful. Battleships have both still survived, and we're just chasing down heavy cruisers at this point. Looks like the heavies are not that interested in a fight. Because they're running away, and they're running faster than I can chase them. 26.5, I can only do 22. Normally I could do 26, but battle damage is preventing me from going faster. Santiago is working on her indoor pool, but this one's on the bow. Maybe they're working on one of those infinity pools in the bow, so you can see where you're going as you're looking out the front. Damage done, 17k. Damage taken, 11k. Yeah, and I lost, what? A destroyer, a light cruiser, and 2 heavies, I think. Now, I know better than to put this heavy cruiser up against an enemy heavy cruiser group, because those prove to be quite dangerous. And I think I can't even pen that, can I? With this light cruiser? Hello? No? Maybe it's not showing me because I'm not in range. Richelieu has a damaged engine. Terrible has a damaged engine. Yeah, we won't catch these guys. They're gonna be too quick. We might be able to finish off the Santiago, but that is probably as good as it's going to get. Unless we get a lucky hit. Chance to pen? 100%. Let's switch back to armor piercing, because they might do a little better against this threat. If we hit. Because I think armor piercing... Yeah, see I'm getting partial pens. Partial pen with a high explosive shell. Nope, missed. Missed. Hit, fire. Immediately puts 3 sections of the ship on fire. And they immediately put it out. Look at that. Well done to them. No joy in the San Felipe. Alfonso. Come on, buddy. You're launching torps? I think that's optimistic and just flat out not likely to work. Chance to pen, 4.5%. Okay. Yeah, guys, I'm going to end it here because I'm just chasing down a couple of heavy cruisers and it's really not that interesting. He says, as the heavy cruiser just immediately blows away the light cruiser. Anyway, I'd say this victory is going to go to the French. The 16-inch gun, bow-heavy battleship does seem to work rather nicely. And all the guns have managed to sustain their rate of fire. None of them got blown off the ship. All of them, I'd say, did a fairly good job. Look at that. I wonder if that's a pattern. Hold on. No, it's not a pattern. This turret just got lucky, I think. 8,500 damage versus these two together doing 2,800. But it doesn't persist because these two together do 2,800. Oh, sorry. These two together do 31 and this one does 1862. Anyway, decent battle. Felt a bit easy. And hopefully the new patch is going to hit soon, which might also cause or fix some of these issues. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for another video.